Welcome to a real cult classic where we talk about, well, your favorite cult classics. A little bit of pop culture, a smattering of old Hollywood gossip with a side of scandal and intrigue. I'm your esteemed cult leader, Megs, from the Cult of Megs on the old TikTok, and this is my friend, your friend, cult elder Auntie Amy. Amy, say hi to the cult.
Hey everyone.
It's March. I don't know how we got here, and we're already tired of tariffs, so viewer beware.
This episode will have a 25% tax on it.
So, Amy, this is our last episode for season two. So we always end on episode 13. It's also my birthday episode.
It is your birthday episode, and it's a big birthday.
I'm turning 20.
Oh, Megan.
That's right. I'm a savant, like that Riley girl from Felicity. I've been 18 this whole time.
I mean, you certainly, I told you, and I think a lot of the followers have told you that you do look like you've taken a sip from the fountain of youth. So you don't look anywhere near
I don't.
your age. So that's good.
It's funny though, because me saying that, there's two types of people. There's the people who don't think I look my age and think it's amazing, and the people who get really angry by that and like to tell me that I do look my age and get really offended that anybody would say I look younger than my
That's
age.
that's so weird. And also, I just want to backtrack for a second because I said you don't look your age and that's good. Who the fuck cares? Why do
No.
like that's also fine. You could look
Mm-hmm.
like you're 65. I do. I'm like a woodland witch and I love it.
She's not, just so everybody knows. That's a load of bullshit. Get your
I
shovels.
That's how I identify. I also just was like, why did I say that? And instead of us having to edit that out, I'll just correct myself. You look great, and
Thanks.
you always have looked great, and you always will look great. And age is just a number.
It's a privilege. It's
Exactly.
a privilege to age.
That's right.
Before we get into this one, can I tell you a quick cult-related story that I thought was
Mm-hmm.
quite funny?
Mm-hmm.
I've been working contract work with an organization, and the first day that I met the person I was working with, there was the earthquake happened.
Oh, right.
And so we had to duck and cover under her desk. And she thought, she was like, can we take a picture of us under this desk? Because it's hilarious that this is like our first time meeting. You've come to the building to work with me. I want to send this to like our boss.
Yeah.
And so she took the picture of us under the desk and like sent it off to the boss. And then I guess she like had posted it on her social media, like, haha, I just met this like girl and now we're like under a desk together and there's an earthquake. And she's originally from the States. And her friend commented and was like, I follow her. She's on TikTok.
Oh
And
my
she was like,
gosh.
what? And so she said to me before telling me this story the other day when I was working with her, she kind of leaned back and she was like, are you on TikTok? And I was like, yeah. And she told me the story about this friend and how she posted the picture. And the friend was like, no, I follow her. And she was like, no, she's not. She's not on TikTok. She was like, no, she is. And I follow her.
Oh
And
my
so, like,
God.
how nuts is it that her friend who is in the States, that she's come to Canada and now we are working together and her friend is a cult member?
That's so weird. Also, wait. Was the earthquake that bad for you that you had to go under a desk? Where
Well,
were you?
without giving anything away, you know the area that I work in, part of the protocol, as you called it, is
Yes,
the
yeah.
place where we were that we had to go under a desk. But I did feel it. I was in a rolly chair, and my chair started like rolling me around. And the person I was with was like, I was like, "That was an earthquake." She was like, "No, no, someone just slammed the copier really hard." And I was like, "That is not a copier." And then everyone
No.
else appeared out of the halls, and they were like, "Was that an earthquake?" And then we had to go outside in the rain, and yeah,
Yeah, so I also felt it. I have construction across from me, so I was like, "Oh, it's the
that's what you thought it
construction."
was.
But then it escalated to the point where my dog that was lying on the bed with me looked at me like, "Mama?" And I went, "Oh yeah, this feels we're swaying." And then I went, I am so ill prepared for an earthquake
Hmm.
because I go, like, you go under a desk and the ground falls beneath you or you get crushed if you're inside. And then if you go outside, You just get swallowed up by the earth. Like it's not like you can just fly away. Like where are you gonna go? What are
I
you
don't
gonna
know like
do?
what CGI movie you're in, but it's like a big sinkhole. It's gonna just swallow you
Well, it's
whole.
the earth. The
It's
earth is
the earth.
crumbling beneath you. You
I don't know.
that's where
I
everything
was in a
is.
6.8 earthquake in Anaheim and we went to Disneyland like the next day. So
Right, but I'm saying if it's the big one, right? Like, where do you find reprieve? So if I stay inside, I'll get crushed. If I go outside, I'll be swallowed up. Where do you go?
I don't know. People survived the one in San Francisco.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I just feel like, look, a tornado, you know what to do. A tornado, you can escape if you have the luxury of, you know, a
Being in a
basement or
building, but what if you're in
whatever.
a car at like Twisters and you try to hide under an overpass and then it sucks you out from under the overpass?
Oh, listen, if you're outside in the eye of a tornado, you're screwed. I'm saying, though, you know what to look for. You know where to go. You got to go to a lower level. You have to find cover.
Hmm.
An earthquake, it's the ground. What do you do?
Hope for the best.
You can't run even.
No, you just gotta
It's
hope for the
jingle
best.
jangly. You're going to be like rocking
You
around. Like
you
it's
are
very,
grateful that you are in a developed country that knows what its issues are and has been preparing for them.
yes, I know that infrastructure
That's
post, I don't
why
know what,
we
yes.
sway. That's why I got a text from my husband. He was like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" And I'm like, "It's because you're on the 10th floor. That's why it
Yeah.
felt." Because
Oh
these buildings,
gosh.
that's what they're meant to do. I remember when I was
Yeah.
in the one in Anaheim and I looked outside and I could physically see the building swaying, and I was like, "What is going on?" But that's what they're meant to do.
Yeah, I don't love that.
No,
You know,
I
all
can you
natural
imagine being on the
disasters are
Lions Gate,
terrifying, but yeah. Oh,
like
this,
being on a
yeah.
bridge? No, thank you.
No, no, worst nightmare. No,
This is
no,
why
no, no,
you do
no.
not stop on a bridge. Keep
But
that
if
shit
there's
going.
traffic, what are you gonna do? You gotta stop.
Don't like there should be no traffic. Don't go anywhere during rush hour. Be like
Well, I
go
don't drive,
yeah,
so
that's true.
I think I'm okay.
Be an
Um,
agoraphobe like me.
although if we do go to, what is it, Cream Pony, don't we
Hmm.
have to cross a bridge?
I know we're gonna take the sea bus because you've never been
Oh,
on the sea bus, have you?
I've been on the sea ferries to go to Granville Island from the West End.
Oh, but that's not the sea bus.
No, but it's
It's
the same
different.
concept. I've been on a
Those are
ferry.
those are very tiny. You gotta go on the sea bus. They do like this elaborate video and it takes 15 minutes. You don't have to go over a bridge and then you just walk up to Cream Pony.
This feels like Goldilocks of the sea
You said
taxi
you wanted to do
variety.
something for my big birthday, so you owe me a trip on the sea bus.
I'm so into it. I just feel like I have had experiences that will prepare me for a sea bus.
So for this one, I requested from Amy that we do crushes because this is
Yeah.
my birthday episode. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna you go first. Take it away.
Okay. I'll take it away. Um in truth, you've actually covered quite a few of my childhood crushes on your channel already.
Because
The
sometimes I
main
do them for your birthday.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, well, I mean, the main one, which was not for my birthday, is Devon Sawa. That's like the main childhood crush that I
Hmm.
had for years. But yeah, you gave me two birthday editions. One was Stephen Dorff because of my Blade obsession, and then Mr. Oak in Far from the Madding Crowd, the new version for the crushed goes to the movies, right? Um, so I thought that I might choose an adult crush for this episode, which is more rooted in the talent the person possesses because I feel less comfortable objectifying someone in my older age. Now, the person I'm going to talk
I
about,
don't.
the person I'm going to talk about is one of my favorite actors because he consistently makes interesting choices and is a craftsman who just happens to be otherworldly beautiful slash ruggedly handsome. Okay, I'm done. That's the objectification that I'm applying to this. But who is this person I'm describing? This is Tom Hardy. I feel like you approve of this choice.
I just watched the latest Venom movie last night, coincidentally.
I haven't seen a single Venom movie.
Why they're so good.
I know.
They're
I'm
actually
going
quite
to.
funny.
I was intrigued by Tom Hardy after I watched The Dark Knight Rises, the Christopher Nolan directed trilogy, the third in that series, the Batman series, in 2012. And although some believe Inception, also directed by Nolan, was Tom Hardy's breakout role, I still think Bane, the villain Bane, exposed him to a bigger commercial audience. Now, having said that, he had already been acting for, I mean, decades at this point, but I just remember everyone talking about Tom Hardy doing the Bane voice, the Halloween costumes. Like, do you remember this, Megan? It was like a huge deal.
Oh yeah, it was a massive role for him. And it's because I think it really showcased his talent. People really got behind that. And the Bane
Yeah.
character was hot.
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan. No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
Megan is doubling down.
It's just the truth. I don't think Tom Hardy would be offended by that.
No, I mean, look, I was intrigued by him in this point. By no means was I a big Tom Hardy fan when I
Oh, it was
watched
all about
Bane.
the art, was it?
No, I kind of look, there was a part of the Bane voice that I thought was like really over the top, and I just didn't know. I feel like because so many people were impersonating it and putting it on, and because it was so like memeified, I just didn't know where I stood. I was like, this guy makes big choices and he's an interesting kind of contemporary villain. And I think wasn't Killian Murphy also in the Batman series? Like, wasn't he kind of introduced as well? He played like a smaller part. Wasn't he Scarecrow or something?
Are you just saying that because he looks like a scarecrow?
No, I mean I know he auditioned to play
Yeah, he was
Batman.
in Dark Knight.
Yeah, he auditioned to play Batman and Nolan loved him
Yeah,
so
Dr.
much.
Jonathan Crane, the Scarecrow.
Oh, coming in with the memories and
Mm-hmm.
the
Well done, well
facts.
done.
Yeah, like the Dark Knight series gave us some goodies. So anyway, I realized as I was thinking about, okay, what was like the point where I really clued into Tom Hardy? Because I also, again, we're gonna talk about looks here because it's your birthday and I'll indulge you. I have this habit of being very uninterested or not sort of tapping into the aesthetics of certain men that everyone is jumping on when they're younger. And then only when they start to age and look like a leather boot am I like, who's that guy? Like, I, Tom Hardy now I find ridiculously attractive. Young, ethereal, more like, I don't know, youthful Tom Hardy was not my I wouldn't clue in that way.
I
So
think I
I
said that you liked them like a weathered Muskoka cottage.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why, but there it is. Anyway, in sort of assessing and figuring out like when I started cluing into him as an actor, I went, I don't really know much about this guy, like in terms of his background. So this was kind of fun to look at his career and his talent and not talk too much about his good looks. Okay, so Tom was born on September 15th, 1977, a fellow Virgo. I was born on the 18th. He was born in Hammersmith, a district of West London, England. His mother, Elizabeth Ann Barrett, is an artist and painter, and his father, Edward Hardy, is a writer. Tom is of English and Irish descent, which I think is, a pretty great combo. And he obviously comes by his creative instincts pretty honestly. He was brought up in East Sheen, London, and studied at Reed School, then Tower House School, then at Richmond Drama School, and finally at the Drama Centre, London. Now, I watched a little documentary thing about him that highlighted his rebellious stage in his youth. Um, I'll put this in a nice little asterisk here. So he had a lot of energy and not many ways to output that energy. I think he grew up in a really kind of like nice, but ultimately not super exciting town and place. So he got into a bit of trouble. But ultimately, the arts became a great way for him to hone that electric side of himself and channel it into becoming other people by playing characters. So that's how he got out of that. So at 21, Tom won a modeling competition and gained a contract with Models One agency, which I believe was pretty short-lived. He transferred fully into acting. In 2003, Tom won the Evening Standard Most Promising Newcomer Award for his theater performances in the productions of In Arabia, We'd All Be Kings, and Blood. Over the next 5 years, Hardy worked in film, television, and theater, taking on roles such as Robert Dudley in the BBC's The Virgin Queens in 2005, Bill Sykes in Oliver Twist in 2007, and a starring role in The Man of Mode at the National Theatre. Between 2004 and 2006, he appeared in the films Layer Cake, Sofia Coppola's Marie Antoinette, which I have to rewatch that. Obviously, I don't think he played. Does he play a big part in that? Do you know?
I don't really remember him in it.
Yeah, me neither. So he's probably something small, but I do love that movie. And Scenes of a Sexual Nature. In 2006, Hardy founded Shotgun, a theater company alongside director Robert Delamere, and Tom directed a play his father wrote for the company called Blue on Blue. In 2007, Hardy earned a Best Actor BAFTA nomination for playing Stuart Shorter in the BBC adaptation of the bio Stuart, A Life Backwards. Next, in 2008, he appeared in the Guy Ritchie film Rock and Rolla and Bronson, playing the titular character Charles Bronson, in which he bulked up and shaved his head and was almost unrecognizable. This was a breakout role for him. He won a British Independent Film Award for Best Actor, and Hollywood really started paying attention. He was named one of Variety's 10 actors to watch and continued to work. He starred in The Take and then played Heathcliff in an ITV adaptation of Wuthering Heights. Side note, Wuthering Heights is where Tom met his current wife, Charlotte Riley. They played fictional lovers in the adaptation and decided to make it not so fictional. Important notation on timeline here, though, because Tom had been dating Rachel Speed from 2005 to 2009, so some overlap. But Tom and Charlotte started dating after that, around the time he did the film Warrior, which I'll talk about. And they now have 2 sons, born in 2015 and 2018, and they've been together for many years. So back to his many films. I mean, this guy has worked pretty consistently since he started out. Inception, remember, I talked about that in 2010, another Nolan film, then Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and then Warrior. So Warrior, who stars another talent crush I have, happens to be easy on the eyes, honestly. Joel Edgerton is a fantastic film. So I highly recommend it. Hardy and Joel play estranged brothers. Hardy portrays an ex-Marine who comes home and enlists the help of his father, a recovering alcoholic and former wrestling coach, Nick Nolte, to train him for a huge MMA tournament. But what he doesn't know is that his underdog brother, Joel, ends up also joining the tournament, and they have to confront each other and the things in their past that have dragged them apart. And Joel obviously is the actor, not the character name. Love that movie. That, I think, is the movie that I went, whoa, he is unreal. Like, this is when I was a complete convert. Some more films in 2012, Lawless. I kind of loved that film. Stars another crush, Jessica Chastain. And I don't know if you have this. She is someone I could watch endlessly. Like, there's something about her face. She's so watchable. She's also insanely talented, but there's just something about her. After Lawless in 2012, again, he did The Dark Knight Rises, playing the villain Bane. We talked about that. Now, moving on chronologically, of course, he did Locke, The Drop, Child 44, and Mad Max Fury Road, another fave of mine. This is another film I watched and went, okay, this guy is he's like someone we're gonna study. Like, this is where I went. He's amazing, although, and I have to look back on this. I don't know if it's true, but I remember something being written about some beef between him and Charlize during the filming of this. Like,
That does sound familiar.
yeah, like apparently he was maybe not so great. He was very in like the zone of the film, and yeah, but I don't want to perpetuate a rumor if it's a rumor, but I do remember there being a bit of a thing in the tabloids around that time. Then he did London Road, Legend, The Revenant, which I still have not seen. I'm scared of seeing that film.
I think because the place that we worked at together, we had to promo The Revenant for like a year and a half. It's like
I
at
know.
Disneyland where they do the anniversary for like a year and a half. That's what it felt like. We talked about The Revenant for a year and a half of our lives, and I don't think any of us wanted to watch it because we had to talk about it so much.
No. And I heard that it's like pretty brutal
Yeah.
in a way that's like, I don't know.
I also
But
just
yeah.
don't want to give Leonardo DiCaprio any of my money.
Did he win the Oscar for The Revenant? Was that the one he
I
won for?
think so. I just find old Leonardo DiCaprio insufferable. Like, I'll take The Beach and Titanic Leo, but that's it. Oh, and Romeo and
Yeah.
Juliet Leo.
Look, Leonardo DiCaprio is undeniably a fantastic actor, but I do find that like he always has the same explosive moment where his
Hmm.
face turns red and he just starts screaming and yelling and like in every film he's in.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched his no, Flowers of the
I
something
think
moon
I
or
watched it, but they all blurred together. Like, I feel like he had a
yeah.
bigger range when he was younger and did more diverse things. Like The Aviator. I thought The Aviator was amazing.
I think
I
also that
liked
was
it.
the era in which he was in. There was probably just I feel like there was better stuff going on back then, but that could just be my bias.
That is true.
Um, okay, so neither of us have seen The Revenant. I might have to try to watch it. The Taboo TV series, that's another one that I was always very intrigued by, but never watched it.
Is it an
Very,
American series?
yeah, or
Oh,
what network? I can't remember, but I think they had a couple seasons. And then he did Dunkirk. Now, I did just watch that 2 nights ago. And prep for this, but also I'm really into war dramas right now. I wonder why. Refamiliarizing myself with different perspectives of World War II. And this is another Nolan picture. And Hardy plays a fighter pilot. And it was brutal. Also, your boy Harry Styles is in it.
do love
He pl-
Harry.
he plays quite the dick, I'll tell you.
Oh, I'm sure he plays it well.
He was good. He's not bad. Um, Then he did Sticky, the TV series, and then Venom, which now has grown to 3 films. And I haven't seen these, but Megan has seen them all, is telling me they're great, and I
Oh, he's
should watch
incredible
them.
in it. Yeah.
He just is incredible. He's just okay. Then he did Capone. He played a recurring role on Peaky Blinders, which again is a beloved series. The Bike Riders with Austin Butler and Jodie Comer. And upcoming, we have Havoc, which is going to be airing on Netflix. It's a Netflix special on April 25th. It's a movie. And Mobland, premiering soon on Paramount Plus. It's a TV series starring him and Pierce Brosnan, who I also love. His IMDb also says Mad Max: The Wasteland in pre-production, and I thought he was vocal about saying that this wasn't happening, like he wasn't doing anything more with the franchise. But if he is, dope. I would love that. I love the Mad Max everything. I liked
Hmm.
the latest one they did as well with what's her name? Anna Taylor.
Some of the
Joy or
like
something?
reboots are good when they're redone. Like I liked the redo or whatever. Is it a redo a sequel of Blade Runner? I liked that one too.
Yeah, like Mad Max is, I think, a different timeline.
So
And
it's like
then the
a it's
oh,
not a
no,
reboot, then it's a continuation, which is probably why they're good.
well, maybe it's a reboot of the one that Tom Hardy was in, but definitely the latest one is a prequel. It's like
Hmm.
it's Furiosa before she's you know, in with this like the main gang. So anyway, um, Tom Hardy is not slowing down. Lots of stuff coming up. And I was reading a Forbes interview conducted by Jeff Conway during the Bike Riders press tour. And just a quote here from Hardy. He said of what's next, there is a part of me that's gone back to the drawing board. New starts. I think there's a return to what's important of why I started, what I can do now. This is a generational thing, so an acting career shouldn't stop just because you're 50 now. It's about recalibration and laying the track down for things that are meaningful and have purpose. And if not, don't do them. Don't do anything. Just let it go. Some things are more important than just doing for the sake of doing, you know? And I do know, Tom. I do know. And I was just thinking again, like, so what is it about this guy? What is it about Tom that makes him so compelling? And comparisons between Tom and Brando are so easily drawn, right? In terms of depth of talent, looks, charisma, and I will say even vocal quality. Tom's voice is incredibly flexible and interesting and very unexpected. Like it sits at a higher register than you would expect, right? Um, just like Brando's did. And I love that. I think that's also part of why he gets away with these character roles that he does so well. But I do think he's just one of the better and more exciting actors. I never get sick of him or his choices. And part of that comes from the fact that he, by his own admission, is without a consistent process. Despite studying tons of methods over the years and being a self-proclaimed geek, he subscribes to his instinctual nature to drive his decisions when acting or preparing to act. And I think that's what makes him feel so alive and real in the work that he does. He feels also uncompromised. Does that make sense? Like he doesn't feel tethered to the driving social media um, attack on the movie industry.
Hmm.
Because I think he doesn't partake in the spectacle of that. And so, because he's unmoored from all of that shit, I actually feel like I'm watching somebody disappear into these roles. And I feel like I can enjoy him. There isn't that barrier that I feel when I watch someone like for a long time, as Austin Butler because of
Hmm.
Elvis and that whole shit with his voice and like him dating Kaya Gerber and like seeing him everywhere. And it's just like, I don't understand
He does not
how,
oversaturated, so it's a joy to be able to see him because you don't have this access to him that we have to some other actors.
yeah, and his choices are unexpected. Like he does Venom as like his big commercial thing, which is also a quirky
Hmm.
offshoot. Like it's not like a typical
Well, it'll
superhero
be
thing.
interesting for you to watch it because when you're talking about his register and him use he has like that kind of upper register, he really
Yes.
uses it in Venom to kind of make this
Yes.
like nerdy kind of weak kind of character who then embodies this like in that I think you'll enjoy that.
Yeah. Um, I also like for everybody listening to this, his interviews are funny. Like you should listen to his sit down interviews. Like for example, I just thought this was great. He was asked once what his accent was, and he responded with mellifluous, a collage of places, people, things, feelings. It's irrelevant. If you understand me, that's all that matters. It's a hybrid of wish fulfillments. I'm bourgeois, posh, middle class, twat, and then I affect it with all kinds of interesting variants in order to make myself seem interesting. Like he's just unbothered, unpredictable, but I think incredibly thoughtful and
I was going to
self-deprecating,
say
which I
there's a dash
love.
of self-awareness in there that
Oh,
we don't
totally.
see a lot in young Hollywood, unfortunately. But and
No,
I
he's
think
in
that
on
that's
it.
where the draw is too, because there is a
Yeah.
bit of that old Hollywood self-deprecation.
Yeah, he's just in on it. He's in on the
Yeah.
mania. He's in on like the ultimate meaninglessness of everything. I think this guy gets it. And so yeah, check out his interviews if you want to learn about more about his approach to things and just how he is. I just love him.
Well, my crush is Milo Ventimiglia, who I like to call Milo Ventimiglia, but it makes people mad. Um, from Jess from Gilmore Girls. So Milo Anthony Ventimiglia was born on July 8th, 1977. We picked actors of the same vintage.
They're the same age?
Yeah, he's like a month older than 2 months older than Tom Hardy.
Wow. Wow.
He was born in Anaheim, California, which no wonder he's so magical. Boom, boom. He was born to Carol and Peter Ventimiglia and is the youngest of three with two older sisters, Leslie and Laurel. After graduating from El Modena High School in 1995, he went on to study at the American Conservatory Theater that summer. While he had been accepted at both the University of California, Los Angeles and the University of Southern California, he opted for UCLA as they had a more robust and renowned theater program. While studying at university, he began pursuing his acting career and appeared in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as party guest number one. The following year, he was on two of our favorite TGIF and TNBC shows, Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Saved by the Bell, The New Class. He started landing more one-off roles in shows like One World, Brooklyn South, and even appeared in She's All That as soccer player. It was enough for him to drop out of UCLA in 1999, though, as his studies started interfering with his work. And say he was there to be an actor, so he's going to be an actor. By 2000, he had landed a full-time role on the show Opposite Sex alongside Chris Evans, Kyle Howard, remember he was a hot commodity back then, and Allison Mack. That series only lasted 8 episodes, which was for the best because he landed my favorite Milo role of all time in 2001, that of Jess Mariano in The Gilmore Girls.
What are you doing? Living at your grandparents' place? Being in the DAR? No, Yale. Why did you drop out of Yale?
It was season 2 when we met Luke Dane's troubled but absurdly hot nephew Jess, which I think set many of us on a path of terrible choices when it came to the boys that we were picking. He had the hair, he had the leather jackets, and he could read. Love a boy who's literate. We got 2 glorious seasons with him until his dumb, estranged dad, Jimmy, showed up and stole him for a spinoff.
Did we even care after that who she dated? I didn't.
Some people really like Logan Huntsberger, but he was a terrible human being.
In
Even
real
worse than
life?
Jess. No, I don't think so. I think I've been watching Matt Troshky, I don't know how to say his last name, in The Resident, and he's good in The Resident, especially when he
Okay.
doesn't have his shirt on. Anyway, Windward Circle was supposed to premiere in 2003. It took Jess to Venice Beach in that damn leather jacket and set him up for the spinoff that would focus on his relationship with his father. But by June, I was graduating and WB had decided not to order the series. The cost of shooting on location at Venice Beach was too high, and Amy Sherman Palladino and Daniel Palladino didn't see it working any other way. At this point, Milo had cemented himself as a bona fide teen heartthrob, even though he was 26.
I'm just triggered by that Amy Sherman Palladino and Daniel Palladino show not getting picked up because my husband was basically the Lang in a series that they had written right after Gilmore Girls, and they filmed the pilot and then it never got picked up. And I was like, you could have been on.
You could have had Palladino money.
Yeah. And little side note, my husband says that Amy Sherman Palladino and Daniel are like the nicest married couple, like creators ever. He just raved about them. That's all I'll say.
Milo went on to secure a role on American Dreams, another one of my favorite shows. They used to sell the costumes out of a cute little shop at Universal Studios. I miss it, along with the I Love Lucy Museum. And landed him a role in the Wes Craven thriller Cursed alongside Christina Ricci, Maya, and Jesse Eisenberg. He also popped back into Gilmore Girls for season 4 and 6, but by then Rory was extra annoying and Jess could have definitely done better. The show aired its final episode in 2006, which happened to be the same year that he broke up with Alexis Bledel after 4 years of dating. 2006 ended up being a pretty big year for Milo. He appeared as Rocky Balboa Jr. in Rocky Balboa alongside Sylvester Stallone, which was fitting considering the two share the same nerve condition. They both have nerve damage on the left side of their faces, which makes it hard for them to move their mouths and gives them that quirky little smile. After he landed a leading role in the show Heroes, where everyday people discovered that they had superpowers, he started dating co-star Hayden Panettiere in 2007, when he was 29 and she was a newly minted 18. But we'll save that one for an I Remember When.
Yikes.
Yeah. Around that same time, he produced a mini-series for American Eagle, the clothing store, called It's a Mall World, which is the most late 2000 thing I've ever heard. Well, Heroes ended in 2010. His relationship with Hayden was donezo even sooner, ending in 2009. He went on to voice Wolverine in multiple animated series and did a bunch of not great movies. Sorry, Milo, but it's kind of true. 2013 would see him back on TV in both Mob City and Chosen with Chad Michael Murray, when CW worlds collide. He started to hit his stride a bit more, appearing in 2014's Grace of Monaco alongside Nicole Kidman, and then Gotham, and appeared in 2015's The Whispers series with Lily Rabe. Is that how you say her last name?
I don't know, but I like
Right?
her.
Right? She's so good. In American
Yeah.
Horror Story, killed it. In
And her husband
26,
is amazing too.
oh,
Hamish Linkletter.
oh, interesting. Linklater. Like Harvey?
Um, what? Like Harvey?
Is it Harvey Linkletter? Who's the famous Linkletter?
Yeah, I think he's related to the famous Linkletter, but he was
Oh,
in did you see uh Midnight Mass?
yes.
He was the main guy in that. Like
Oh, okay.
the priest.
We loved when talent marries talent.
Oh, they're like, yeah, super talented couple.
Mm. In 2016, Netflix made the decision to reboot Gilmore Girls, creating a four-part miniseries called Gilmore Girls: A Year in the Life. And it was a choice. Was Lorelai still insufferable? Yep. Was Rory still whiny and insecure? Double yep. Was Jess still hot and the only one with a modicum of character growth? Yep, yep, and yep. Also creating a mini-series that ends in a cliffhanger is loser behavior, and I honestly expected better from Amy Sherman Palladino. There, I said it. Thankfully, her redemption arc is coming.
Shots fired.
I hated it. It was the worst.
Which I didn't even know this existed.
You
This
haven't
like
watched it?
no,
It's
what is
terrible.
it?
It's a four-part, so it's four parts and it goes by the seasons. And it follows Rory now in her career as like a journalist, and it follows like Lorelai and Luke, and Lorelai goes off and does the what was it called? The hiking thing, and it was like a big deal. And it was a book, and
Maybe
then it became
I
a movie with
did. Oh, maybe I
Reese
did.
Witherspoon, Reese Witherspoon.
Oh my gosh, maybe
And they're
I
all
did
doing
watch
the
this.
hike thing, and she goes on it, and she's so annoying and insufferable, and so is Rory. And then Rory gets like, I'm sorry to anybody that hasn't watched this, I'm going to spoil it for you. Rory finds out that she's pregnant. She doesn't know who the father is, and they kind of lead us to believe that it's Jess, but it could also be a dude dressed up as Chewbacca from a Comic-Con, and that's where they leave it. Like this was supposed to be our
What's the
closure, and she
point?
left it open-ended, and it made me so mad.
Hold on. Hot news. Mark
What?
Carney elected Liberal leader in landslide victory. Woohoo!
This is a liberal podcast, just if that makes anybody mad. I'm not sorry.
My husband just texted me. Carney won. We are a liberal family. Look,
Mm.
we are a Carney family, but also a liberal family. We really wanted that. This is our only chance, guys.
We are a non-conservative people. I think
That's
that's
it.
probably
We
a
are.
better way to say
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah, we are
Yes.
non-conservative
Yeah. Yeah.
people. We believe in your rights. Anyway, Milo was also a little surprised that he got asked back to Gilmore Girls due to an incident on the OG Gilmore Girls set that involved spray paint and tagging. He was just channeling his inner Jess, very method. That same year, Milo landed what is arguably one of the biggest roles of his career, Jack Pearson in This Is Us. This Is Us followed the Pearson family over multiple decades as Jack and Rebecca Pearson, played by Mandy Moore, raised their three children. I tried to watch it for Milo, but mein gut Gott. The kids were insufferable, and I can't stand looking at Justin Hartley's face. He makes me so angry.
Okay. I noted,
Yeah.
but I am a This Is Us stan. I loved every soppy minute of it.
I
was
didn't get past the
actually,
first season.
oh my God, really?
Everyone's
Yes,
so
the kids are,
selfish. I
yeah, the
can't. They're
kids are
so
self-indulged for
selfish.
sure. Yes.
And it
But
hits too close to home in some parts of my life. So I was just like, I can't do it.
that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense.
If anybody watched my TikTok about my wedding, you'll understand what I'm saying.
I just thought it was so beautifully structured, and I didn't think they'd pull off Mandy Moore as an older, like playing the older version of her. She was amazing in that.
They were both really good. It's just too bad that their children are terrible and really selfish. And Justin Hartley in real life is a terrible human being.
Is he?
Oh yeah. Oh
I'm
yeah.
saying that
I'll do
like,
an I remember
whoa.
one on him. Don't you worry.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, sorry. I'm very interrupty. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You can cut me
That's
out.
the whole point of this. Over the course of the series, Milo earned 3 Emmy nominations for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series, and the cast took home the SAG Award for Outstanding Performance by a Cast in a TV Drama Series 2 years in a row. While starring on This Is Us, he did try to land the role of Batman in the Batman movie, another crossover, but claims that Warner Brothers said he was too old, which is like way harsh, Ty, coming from the production company that raised him. He also starred in the film The Art of Racing, which was based on the novel by Garth Stein. Yes, Amy?
I was just thinking about Batman's, like past Batmans, like George Clooney.
Yeah.
Wasn't he
Yeah,
older?
yeah,
Like,
and
what
yet
the
Milo
hell?
was too old. I think Milo would have been a good Batman.
Ben Affleck?
Hmm. Way
Stop.
better than Ben Affleck. Affleck.
Yeah, like we're not pretending like Batman is this like 20-year-old
No.
like Spider-Man Peter Parker character. Like
Robert Pattinson got it over Milo, which I don't,
he's the same age, isn't
yeah,
he?
I think so. No, Robert Pattinson's younger.
Not by
Milo's
much.
in his
I'm
late
infuriated.
40s. Wait, how old
Milo
is
would have
Robert
been
Pattinson?
great. Well, he's got to be our
Robert
age.
Pattinson's like 11 years younger than Milo. He's
Is he?
38.
Well,
Yeah.
he doesn't necessarily appear to be.
Wait, how old was Michael Keaton when he did Batman? Because
Yeah,
Michael
well, oh
Keaton is my
God.
favorite Batman. 1989.
Yeah, of
He is
course he
born in
was.
1951.
Tim Burton did the
He
ultimate
was, yeah, okay,
Batman.
so he's the same age as Robert Pattinson is now. I guess that makes sense.
But everyone looked older back then.
They
Like I
did.
feel like we weren't afraid of like people looking like people
Yeah,
more than now. Like anyway, I don't
still
know
my
why this
favorite
is making me
Batman.
so angry. Because Tim Burton got Batman. It
Yeah,
was campy and outrageous and dark. Like it was the best. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
The Dark Knight was also a really good Batman, although
It
it
was
messed up Heath Ledger.
it was good. Yes, it was different, but the
Hmm.
original Batman I
Yeah,
think tonally
Batman
was just like
Forever.
right
Ugh.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bye. I'm signing off.
Okay. The Art of Racing was filmed in Vancouver, and he would constantly post photos of himself running around the city, and you best believe I tried to find that man. I never did. Probably ran right by me, and I wouldn't have noticed, though, honestly. I'm terrible at celebrity spotting, ironically enough. And Amy, I don't know if you remember this, but we were on a walk in the West End one day, like in the summer, and the Swede from Hell on Wheels walked by us, and he's like 4,000 feet tall, and I didn't even notice him. You were like, "That's the Swede." I was like, "Where?" And he
Well,
was a
because
giant.
he lives there. He lived. Oh, look, I loved Hell on Wheels and I loved that character. He's an amazing Canadian actor. When we used to live in the West End, we found out that he lived in one of the buildings like beachfront. And then also, this is so random. He lived across from my former drama teacher in university. She had a loft in Montreal and he lived across from her. I was like, I can't escape him. He's like
And
everywhere.
yet I just walked right by him. I didn't even look.
Yeah, that's a weird one. If you actually liked the Swede as a character for you not to recognize him, that's hilarious.
I did also, what's his face? Bill Skarsgård.
Yes.
Um,
Your
I was,
favorite?
I was walking up South Granville and he was in Vancouver. I didn't know, shooting pickups, I think, for one of the It movies. And I only noticed him because as I was walking up, I was like, I just felt the shadow looming over me. And I looked up and it was Bill. And that's the only reason why I even would have noticed him because I was just like, holy crap, that person's tall.
But also, were you not like the happiest little bean because he's your big crush?
I just kept walking because I get nervous.
Oh yeah. No, oh my God. I would
Yeah,
rather
but yeah,
die than
no, it
interact with
was,
them. But
but like
also,
normally I don't notice anybody. But Seth Rogen lived up the street from me for years. Never saw Seth Rogen. Never saw what's his face? Boba, no,
who?
Pedro Pascal. Never saw Pedro Pascal. The man was up at restaurants by me. I don't see anybody. I
Yeah.
see Quinn Hughes, but I only notice him because he's shorter than the rest of his friends on the Canucks. And so he
Oh,
sticks
you
out when
see
they're
him?
together. I
Oh,
see him,
yeah,
yeah.
you would. I mean, that you would. One person I saw, like the part of the It movie, because oh Jesus, I just scratched my mic. Um, one person that I saw, he played the bully. What is his name? He ended up being an amazing actor. I love him. I think he's also someone that's super exciting. But I saw him walking down Robson, and I was like, oh, because I really like him. What is his name? I gotta find it now. Um, hold on. Hold on. Owen Teague.
Why does that name sounds familiar?
He is fantastic in
Oh, okay, yep.
Mrs. Fletcher, and he was great in The Stand, the Stephen King series.
Mm-hmm.
And he also was in Kingdom of the
See, I
Planet
wouldn't
of
be
the
able to pick
Apes,
him
which
out in a
was so
crowd.
good. You would, he's also very tall. He's very
I
distinct
have like
looking.
facial blindness when it comes to people. I can't. Jason Priestley was at the Canucks game I was at the other night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you didn't recognize him?
Well, I only knew he was there because he was on the Jumbotron.
Well,
And I
thank
was like,
God he
oh my
was,
gosh,
otherwise you wouldn't have
he's somewhere
known.
in this city. I could walk by him and I wouldn't even know.
I
Terrible at
I
it.
was walking in Toronto and Kiefer Sutherland was
Oh,
walking towards me and my husband who is less cool than I am, I think he just had like an instinctual like holy shit and he pointed at him and Kiefer just very coolly nodded and like walked by us like, yeah, that's me,
that's
bitch.
Canadian royalty right there.
Yeah, but but again, to me he's so distinct. Like
He
Kiefer
would I would
Sutherland,
probably
yeah.
notice
I think
Kiefer,
he
yeah.
also had a leather jacket. He was just
Uh-huh.
cool. I'm like, God damn it.
There are
Just
people where I have been insistent that they are somebody, and my husband's like, that's not that person. I'm like, no, that's that person because they do look
you
really
can tell.
distinct.
Yeah, yeah, you can
I think
tell.
I get messages from people who are like, I think I saw you, and I'm like, listen, you're gonna notice me if I'm in
Yeah, you are
public.
also a very distinct person who is recognizable.
I'm
That's
not
right.
blending into any crowd unless it's a very tall crowd, and then you won't be able to see me.
Yeah.
This Is Us ended in 2022, and Milo would reunite with the Sherman Palladinos in that same year when he appeared as Handsome Man, fitting title, in season 4 of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and as Silvio in season 5. He also started dating Jara. I did not look up how to say her name, so I'm sorry if it's Jara or Yara. Mariano. Solid last name. Fitting, meant to be. The following year, he appeared in the series The Company You Keep, and that October, he married Jara. I'll just say them both. When Jimmy Kimmel pointed out all the broken hearts that were left in the wake of Milo getting married, he said, I'm sure there's a few broken hearts, female and male. I don't know. Maybe. The point is, there's a lot of life, and there's a lot of Milo Ventimiglias out there. Milo, we both know that's not true. Less than a year after tying the knot, Milo and Yara revealed that they had collaborated their DNA and had a baby on the way. He also appeared in The Land of Bad with the brothers Hemsworth and Russell Crowe, who is in everything right now. It was like he disappeared and now he's in every freaking movie playing a priest. I don't know. This January, though, Milo and Yara watched their LA home go up in flames on their security cameras during the Palisades fire. He said that the irony that his This Is Us character died from smoke inhalation after their home burnt down was not lost on him, which is very eerie. They did welcome their daughter, though, on January 23rd, the same day that the Palisades fire reached 100% containment. And as somebody that was in LA when this was happening, I cannot imagine being like at the end of your pregnancy and watching your nursery go up in flames. Like, I can't even imagine how incredibly devastating and heartbreaking, even though they obviously can rebuild, but still, that sucks. And that's it. That's Milo Ventimiglia. Still
Yeah.
hot, still thriving in a leather jacket.
Yeah, and I have to say before This Is Us, I know like look, I went from in terms of Milo, yes, Gilmore Girls, major impact. Bad boy anything when
Mm-hmm.
you're a teenager is
I was
a
very polar
terrible influence.
opposites. Like it was like I loved Jess, and then I loved Dave Rogalski, Lane Kim's Adam Brody played
Oh,
Lane Kim's, and
right.
he tried to like impress Mrs. Kim, and he was like, I don't like anything carbonated because the bubbles freak me out. And then he played Seth Cohen, who was super like nerdy and insecure. So it was like either like Jess, who just like wore a leather jacket and treated you like garbage and didn't show up when he was supposed to, or super nerdy Adam Brody type who, was too afraid of girls and didn't know how to talk to you. It was a very
Yeah, see,
confusing time being a teenager
that was
for
never
me.
my hit, the Adam Brody. But I never watched those shows. Like the Gossip Girl and
I
the
married
One
the
Tree.
Adam
What is
Brody
it?
type.
Was it One Tree Hill? What was
One
it?
Tree
Gossip
Hill,
Girl
yeah.
and One Tree. Yeah.
One Tree Hill,
You
Gossip
did.
Girl,
I
yeah.
guess you did.
I
I
did.
guess you did.
I did at one time when I was talking about my nemesis, because Jessica Biel is my nemesis, Blake Lively, Anne Hathaway, I think, is our shared nemesis.
Yeah.
And somebody asked me who else, and I said like Jessica Alba was, but it's very personal beef because when I started dating my husband, we had been friends for years, but we were dating. We'd go to Blockbuster every weekend to get movies to rent. And I said to him, "Who's your celebrity crush?" Because he knew that I loved Adam Brody, but it aligned. Like they both love coffee, they both play video games, both love Death Camp for Cutie, both very shy, very quiet. My husband does treat me infinitely better than Adam Brody treated, or Seth Cohen treated any of the female ladies in his realm anyway. And I was like, who do you like? And he said Jessica Alba. And I was like, excuse me, sir, do I look like Jessica Alba to you? At least I like a nerd. At least nerd is my type, and that you fit into that. Do I look like fucking Jessica Alba to you?
Yeah, I know. Men are so funny.
And I've
I-
not let him live it down for the past 17 years. Every time Jessica Alba shows up in a movie, I'm like, oh, Jessica Alba, bet you want to watch that. He was like, you just asked me and I just picked somebody. I didn't like her that much. I'm like,
Thankfully,
oh, do you
she's
wish I
not
could
been
tan?
she's
Do you
not
wish
been
I
in
had an even
movies.
distribution of melanin?
Oh my God. Oh, poor
I've said his
husband.
name before, so you
Poor
can say his
Nate.
name.
I
Yeah.
could say poor Nate. If it makes you feel any better, my husband, uh, his is Eva Mendes. So, we're all kind of like confused. But I have to say, my crushes also are not exactly aligning with my,
Tom Hardy.
yeah, definitely not. So, listen, you don't need to marry the sort of like you marry. I don't know. It's different. You did. You did like a combo platter. I feel like the qualities of my husband are definitely some of the qualities that um showed up in my crushes, but
Mhm.
I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just more eclectic than I think.
I mean, I probably am.
I
I
have to
am.
say, my husband's all of his like ex-girlfriends look alike and they look nothing like me. Absolutely nothing. And so I had a field day with that. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? All right. Those are our crushes.
Those are our crushes. I mean, I think I have like 200 on my crushed list. I haven't made a crushed in a while, but maybe
You
we'll get back
should.
to it.
Yeah,
And maybe we'll actually record some podcasts during our break so that I can get them out to people on time.
I know. It's been a crazy. I blame the political sphere. It is hard to
Exist right
concentrate on
now.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything else. It's been
It's demoralizing, it's debilitating,
destabilizing.
and
Yeah,
for the people that are directly impacted by it, and I know that I get messages from people that you're having a hard time, and we just want you to know that we're with you and we see you and we hope it gets better because that's all we can do.
that's right.
So we're gonna take a break for a little bit. I don't know. Amy and I will have to talk and see how long it's gonna be. But until then, check your tariffed goods
Shop local.
and may the cult
Be with you.